Here's something nobody in the fitness industry wants you to hear. Everything you've been told about losing fat might be completely backwards. And the very tool you've been trusting to get results could be the exact reason you're stuck. I'm talking about calorie counting. That little ritual of logging every meal, obsessing over numbers, trying to squeeze your day into some arbitrary deficit. It feels disciplined. It feels scientific. But what if I told you that for millions of people, calorie counting isn't just failing to work, it's actively making things worse? Stay with me here, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand why your body laughs at calorie math, why the stress of tracking might be sabotaging your hormones, and what actually drives fat loss when you strip away all the noise. Let's start with the foundation that the entire calorie counting system is built on. The concept is simple. Eat fewer calories than you burn, create a deficit, lose fat. Sounds logical, sounds clean. And there's a grain of truth buried in there. But the problem is that human beings are not calculators. We are living, breathing, adapting biological systems, and our bodies respond to restriction in ways that completely undermine the math. Here's what happens when you start cutting calories. Your body notices, and it does not just sit there quietly burning through fat reserves like a cooperative machine. It adapts. Your metabolism slows down. Your body starts protecting its energy stores. Hormones shift to increase hunger. You become more efficient at extracting energy from less food. Scientists call this metabolic adaptation, and it's one of the most well-documented phenomena in obesity research. What this means in practical terms is that the deficit you calculated on day 1 no longer exists by week 4. Your body moved the goalposts, so you cut more calories. Your body adapts again. This is why so many people hit plateaus that feel impossible to break through despite eating barely anything. Now let's talk about the accuracy problem, because this alone should make you question the whole system. When you log a meal, you're relying on food databases that are built on averages. The actual calorie content of any given food can vary significantly based on how it was grown, how it was cooked, how it was portioned. Research has consistently shown that even trained dietitians underestimate their calorie intake. Restaurants and packaged food labels are allowed a margin of error. Your fitness tracker overestimates how many calories you burned. Stack these errors together and your precise little calorie budget could be off by hundreds of calories in either direction, every single day. So you're not actually counting calories. You're counting estimates of calories. And you're comparing those estimates against estimates of your metabolic rate. And then you're making decisions based on that completely imprecise equation and wondering why things aren't working. But here's where it gets even more interesting. And this is the part most fitness content completely ignores. Calorie counting changes your psychology in ways that backfire. When you attach a numerical value to food, you start categorizing everything as either allowed or forbidden. Research in behavioral psychology shows that restriction and rigid rules around eating create a pattern called the restraint-reward cycle. You restrict all day, your willpower depletes, you eat something that breaks your rules, and then your brain says the day is already ruined, so you might as well keep going. Sound familiar? This cycle is not a character flaw. It's a predictable neurological response to rigid dietary rules. And calorie tracking makes those rules extremely specific and extremely rigid. The more precisely you define what you can and cannot eat, the more powerful the psychological backlash becomes when you inevitably break those rules. There's also the cortisol problem. Stress, including the chronic low-level stress of obsessing over food numbers, elevates cortisol. And elevated cortisol is one of the most potent fat-storing signals your body can receive, particularly around the midsection. So the anxiety of tracking, the guilt when you go over, the frustration of not seeing results, all of that emotional weight is generating a hormonal environment that actively works against fat loss. Let me give you a moment here to really sit with that idea. The act of trying to lose fat through obsessive tracking might be creating the stress hormones that prevent you from losing fat. That's not just ironic. That's a genuine physiological trap that millions of people are stuck inside right now. Now, I'm not saying calories are fictional. Energy balance is real at some level. But focusing on calorie numbers as your primary tool is like trying to navigate a city by only looking at your speedometer. You're measuring something, sure, but it's not the thing that actually determines where you end up. So what does work? What should you be focused on instead? The first thing is food quality over food quantity. Your body processes 100 calories from almonds completely differently than 100 calories from a sugary drink. The hormonal response, the satiety signals, the nutrient density, the effect on gut bacteria, none of that shows up in a calorie number. Whole foods, protein-rich meals, fiber-dense vegetables, these create a hormonal environment where your body naturally regulates appetite more effectively. The second thing is hunger and fullness signals. Your body has an incredibly sophisticated internal feedback system. Hormones like leptin and ghrelin communicate hunger and satisfaction directly to your brain. Calorie counting trains you to override those signals and follow external numbers instead. When you learn to reconnect with actual hunger cues and eat in a way that genuinely satisfies you, your intake often regulates naturally without requiring obsessive tracking. Third is muscle preservation and building. Muscle tissue is metabolically active. It burns energy even at rest. Chronically cutting calories, especially without adequate protein and resistance training, often causes muscle loss alongside fat loss. This is why aggressive calorie restriction frequently makes people lighter but not leaner, and it lowers the metabolic rate further, making future fat gain easier. The fourth factor is sleep and stress management. These two things have a more powerful impact on body composition than most people realize. Poor sleep disrupts insulin sensitivity, increases hunger hormones, and reduces the quality of your decisions around food. Chronic stress, as we already covered, drives fat storage. No calorie deficit can fully overcome a body that is hormonally primed to hold on to weight. Here's the real paradigm shift I want you to walk away with. Fat loss is not a math problem. It is a biological and psychological process. And the sooner you stop treating your body like a spreadsheet and start treating it like a living system that responds to signals, the more progress you will actually make. This doesn't mean eating whatever you want with zero awareness. It means shifting your attention from counting numbers to building habits that support the hormonal and physiological conditions where fat loss happens naturally. Eating foods that genuinely nourish you, moving your body in ways that build strength and create a healthier metabolism. Managing stress. So cortisol isn't sabotaging everything. Sleeping enough so your appetite hormones function properly. These things might feel less precise than logging every gram of food into an app. But precision in the wrong system is just organized failure. The fitness industry profits from keeping you in the tracking loop. If you feel like your results depend on an app, a product, a program with exact macros and calorie targets, you stay dependent. You keep purchasing. You keep coming back. The moment you start trusting your body and understanding what it actually needs, you become a lot less profitable to them. You deserve better than that. If this changed the way you think about fat loss, share it with someone who's been stuck in the calorie counting cycle. And if you want to go deeper on building a sustainable approach to body composition that actually works with your biology, hit subscribe because that's exactly what this channel is about. See you in the next one.